'Cause you're a sky full of stars. 'Cause you light up the park. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. 'Cause in a sky full of stars, I think I saw you. Cause you're a sky full of stars. I wanna die in your arms. Oh, oh. 'Cause you get lighter the more it gets dark. I'm gonna give you my heart. Oh. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. 'Cause in a sky full of stars, I think I see you. I think I see you. You're a sky full of stars. Such a heavenly view. You're such a heavenly
Hello, 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 MBA family. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, everyone. Got James, Debbie, Mary, Carolyn. Hello, beautiful people. All right. Well, I'm super excited because I never once in the history of the MBA have gotten to moderate this session. Actually, I think this is my very first time moderating for Lori, even though her and I go way back and we hung out in Scottsdale and all that cool stuff. And finally, we get to be in the same virtual room together. So I'm super excited. Welcome, everyone. My name is Coach Anastasia. If you've never met me before, if you haven't seen me, I'm one of the coaches at Mastermind. I moderate some events, I facilitate some events, but I'm super excited about the topic for today because we're going to be diving into speaking. And in today's session, we're going to be diving into getting your very first speaking gig and then the next one. And I myself am so passionate about speaking. When I had my coaching business, this is how I got all of my clients. So I am a huge proponent of learning how to speak as a tool to get your clients to get out there and get heard. And so I'm really excited for all of you to be here today and to learn this because it takes guts, right? To say yes to speaking and to step up to the stage. And not everybody out there is willing to do it. So before we begin, before we dive into today's session, just a couple housekeeping rules. Make sure that you're staying muted unless we call on you. We'll have some focus times. And if you have any questions, right, Lori will let you know when she's able to get questions that she can answer. I will be hanging out in the chat answering any questions that you guys have. So feel free to just drop your questions into the chat as well. And then I think I can see everyone's first and last name. All right, you guys are on top of it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. I am going to pass the stage over to Miss Lori Mabelas.
Woohoo! Well, so great to see all of you. I know you see me big, but I always like to see you in gallery view, so I see your beautiful faces. The title of today is How Can You Get Your First Speaking Gig and then the next one? And what I would like to add to that is, if that's okay with you, and I need your permission, if we do that in a way that's actually easy and fun. Can I see some hands? Is it okay if we do it in a way that's easy and fun? Those are kind of the pillars that I like to run these sessions by, but also my life. I've got 3. How can we make it as easy and fun and impactful as possible? Not despite it's easy and fun, but because of it. Because when we make it easy and fun, it starts to flow. You start to feel the energy, and then stuff just happens. And that's what I want to create in this 90 minutes together. I don't just want to share some super, super, super insightful strategies with you, but I also want to just put something out there that maybe, if you're willing to receive it, you actually make a speaking gig, you book a speaking gig within these 90 minutes. Would that be cool or what? Can I see an excitement level of 0 to 10 in the chat if you would get a speaking engagement in these 90 minutes together? Come on, can I see a 0 to 10? I know, like, Mari already put like a whole campfire on their back out of excitement, but I just want to see some interaction. Can I get a 0 to 10 in the chat? How excited are you? Carolyn is always a 10. I don't think I've ever done a training without Carolyn, to be honest. I love it. She is shining on stages. So, super, super, 100% 10. I love this. Okay, a 10. This is great. This is great. This is great. Because with this energy, sometimes I make it fun, but it's actually quite profound, is when we say we're willing to receive it, somehow it's just easier. It just gets easier. So it's beautiful that you're willing to receive it, because I can share all the strategies with you, but you're like, it's right in front of me. I don't feel I'm ready yet, which might be, it's also what you're feeling. It's going to be harder. So I love that you're open. And before I'm going to share the specific strategies how to get on stage and what a stage actually is, I first want to dive in a very important question, and that's why public speaking. Anastasia already kind of like opened the door. She said, like, when I ran my business, almost all my clients came from public speaking. But I want to hear your ideas around, and we can use the chat for that, okay? Why do you feel public speaking is absolutely essential in where you are right now with your business? Why is public speaking so important? Let's put it in the chat. Because it kind of at the same time is the #1 biggest fear of humankind, more than death. You know, there's this funny saying, people rather love to do the eulogy than being in a casket, because that's more terrifying, which is pretty damn crazy. So you're all the trailblazers, impact makers who are willing to at least dive into it, which is super freaking brave, and I appreciate you already for that. So why is it so important? Is the first step in showing my knowledge. Chandra, where are you? Wow, I want to give you 10 points. They're coming in your way, okay? 3, 2, 1. There you go. The reason for is, and I hear this, you know, is the first step in showing my knowledge, right? It's a really beautiful way to get yourself in front of people and to actually share what you're doing. You also can create reels and go on social media, but then you're still, you know, like, it's short form, first of all, and you're also dependent on an algorithm. With speaking, you're literally in front of people, let's say 90 minutes, just like now, and people are listening to you for 90 minutes, right? So it's beautiful, beautiful that you recognize the value of that, even though it might be scary, which if that's you, you're not weird. It's just humankind is kind of like not a super fan of being seen and vulnerable. All right, to communicate our message, James, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And the better, I'm going to tell you, because these lessons, now we're focusing on the gig. There's also speaking lessons to focus on the messaging. The better you start to understand how to do a keynote or how to stand on stages and summarize your message, the better your offer is going to be. The better you start to understand what is it actually that my audience wants. All right, because I want to do a workshop. Beautiful. Oh, I love it. Carolyn, don't tell people what you're doing. Let them experience it. Let them feel the feels. People pie from feelings. So love it. Connecting with my public, established authority. Really good one as well, James. Speaking is a huge part of our business and excelling in our business. Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Because depending on what pillar you're in, I want you to know you are in the right lesson. Because let's just say you're in pillar 1 and you're designing everything you're going through, right? Could it be that when you put your message out there on a stage and you say, hey, who would love to jump on a one-on-one call with me if this sound of any interest at me? Who would love to jump on a one-on-one? And then there's people jumping on a one-on-one and you start to collect data about what it is that they're actually wanting, where they want to go. And you know what? That's the exact information you need to design your offer, to design your foundation, right? Who here knows for a fact that they have incredible knowledge that's going to help other human beings with a transformation? There's every single one of you. And if you don't believe it about yourself, I believe it about you because you're in this room. Like you're amazing. So who here knows that in order to deliver that to people, your message should be a little bit more clear for other people in a way where they're understanding even better what it is that you're doing, right? And I think it's all of us, including Dean, the way he's obsessing about creating and iterating and making it even better for people to understand, that's what this is about. So when you're designing this pillar, you can use public speaking to get data fast. You don't need an offer yet. You don't need a perfect keynote. That's why I love that you're here. Even though you might feel, I don't have a perfect story yet, or maybe you do feel, congratulations. You can do it right now. And let's say you're launching your offer already. You're in pillar 3. How could public speaking add to that pillar in that moment? We already saw it in the chat. You get your message out there. You create visibility. But you also establish authority. James, beautiful. What I love so much about public speaking is that it really helps you become the obvious choice. Where people say, yeah, no, but for that you need Debbie. Of course you need Debbie. Don't you know Debbie? Right? And then you become more and more of the go-to person because you've stand on a stage. And it doesn't need to be on Tony Robbins' stage or on Dean Graziosi's stage. We're going to look at that a little bit later, what a stage is and how you can get your perfect first one and then your perfect next one. Chandra, I hope I say your name right. Do you have your hand up for a reason? Do you have a question, or was this on purpose or by accident?
I know, no, I do have a question. Let me see.
Bring it on. I love that.
Okay. All right. I just reached out yesterday to my local museum. Can you hear me? Okay. You can?
Yes.
Okay. I just reached out yesterday to my local museum about doing a presentation, a free presentation at the museum about family storytelling. I'm waiting to hear back. And I pitched it as 30 minutes of a presentation because I'm nervous to do it, along with 15 minutes of a Q&A. So, and I figure even if they ask me no questions, I will ask them questions. So we will have a Q&A. But I didn't know if you had any suggestions on like doing a PowerPoint or like how to make it visual. And if I need to wait till later in your presentation, I'm happy to do it.
Yes, perfect. Well, first of all, can we give a big round of applause for Chandra because she's reaching out actively to other people. And I'm going to show you some other ways to think about it where Chandra, you're going to get your next one. Like, I'm stoked for you. This is beautiful. This is what it takes, right? And what I'm hearing you ask if I put it in other words, and I just want to verify if that's actually 100% your question, is I now have my gig. Now, how do I make sure that I deliver?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. That like it's more, I'm assuming it's more than speaking, like there has to be some other things going, like something visual. But
And
I'm
just
happy to wait till you get to that
yeah,
part.
like we'll put you back in the back the seat. Thank you for asking your question, which by the way I really love, and you can always put them in the chat as well. I love to integrate the questions while I'm teaching. That's the way I like to work. So who here has a thought sometimes, just like Chandra, maybe it's for you even before you go on your gig, like I don't have my perfect story yet, and therefore I'm just not going out there yet. Right? Just with a raise of hands, right? So this question Chandra is asking, okay, I now have my gig and I don't know completely how to do it, which is one way of approaching, which is super brave. And I know that's not natural to a lot of people. So know that your question, and this is what I want you to think, by the way, all the time, when you raise your hand and you ask something, it's more often than not, especially if you have a beautiful heart like you, Chandra, it's helping everybody in the room. So if any one of you has a question, put it in the chat, because probably other people have that question too, and I will intertwine this in the teaching. Okay, because today we're really focusing on how to get the gig, and I want to be structured as well. There's other trainings, but I'll include it as well. Cool? Beautiful. Beautiful. Because let's then go to the second question that I would love to ask you. We have now why speaking. We figured out why speaking is important for you, and that wherever you are, it is useful. The second question I want to ask you is, what is a gig? When we know public speaking is important, we want to get either our first gig or our next gig. Then what is it? What is a gig? If you put it in your own words, what would you say? You can put it in the chat. And I see you say it, Mary. I appreciate that. I cannot lip read. Oh, so put it in the chat. In front of an audience. Okay, you stand in front of an audience. You have an opportunity. Okay. What else? What is a speaking gig? Because the reason why I'm asking this is I'm personally a TEDx speakers coach. Who's heard of TED? TEDx. Oh, Debbie's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, right? It's like the big red dot where people stand up on, which in a sense is not like a super special dot, but the platform is pretty cool. And then a lot of people always ask me, Lori, I know you're a TEDx speakers coach. They always talk like this weird to me as well when they ask, Lori, how do I get that gig? Better yet, you are part of the organization. Can you get me on there? And I can tell you it doesn't work like that. Okay, and if a TEDx is a dream of yours, then congratulations. I think it's a beautiful platform. But if that's your stage definition, you make it really hard for yourself to get there. Does that make sense? Like if we say a TEDx, that is the stage. And maybe it will happen. And then maybe it takes some years. And then all those years you're quote unquote not successful yet. And Lori, this training of getting a gig didn't work because I'm still not getting my TEDx talk. If that's your definition, you make it really hard for yourself to succeed. So I want to first define what we define as speaking, what we define as a gig, so we know our rules of success. So let's see. Okay, Mary, interesting. I've spoken on panels, but rarely by myself. Now, my question to you and everybody else around this specific situation, did Mary do a speaking gig, yes or no? Right? Is a panel a speaking gig? What do we think? James, you're given the opportunity to share with others on a specific topic or subject. I love that you say that, because sometimes people want to become a speaker, but in reality, nobody wants speakers. No one is looking for speakers. People are looking for experts who speak. That's a whole different thing. You might want to write this down, because I say it like this, but it's actually quite good to know that nobody's looking for speakers. So when you're saying, I'm a speaker, I'm like, okay, great for you. I don't care. If you're saying, hey, I'm the expert on this topic, and I would love to add value to your group by doing an engagement, by doing a speaking, by doing a gig, that's a whole different question. And then people are actually interested. So we have experts who speak. James, that was beautiful. Thank you for saying that. That is why I thought about it. You're in front of an audience on panels. Chandra think a panel is the stage, and I totally agree. Debbie already gave presentations. Beautiful. What I love to define as a speaking gig is actually all of your definitions combined, put it in a head, shake it, shake it, shake it, and then come out in a little bit like a place where you can share in front of more than one person. What if that could be a gig? What if you share your message? Right, Chandra, maybe you're saying, Lori, I got another one. It was in front of a room for 2 people. I'm like, that's so cool. So cool. And I'm going to share some examples with you what the power of speaking gigs are. And I want to show you that it's not like the big ones that actually create incredible big opportunities. Who's excited for a 5-figure speaking gig? I'm going to show you. Oh, I see people like, oh. Oh, I would love to learn more about that. Well, I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you some examples, some case studies of people who went this route and got amazing results for their business. And you might expect bigger crowds. That's really what I want you to see, because later on, I'm going to plant a seed here. And by the way, welcome, Lourdes. It's an amazing class. And if you're going to be in the breakout room, you might have the opportunity to get a stage yourself as well, is you are going to get to breakout rooms and connect with each other. And you will find that there's a very big opportunity that your audience is quite similar or has connections. Now, who here has an Instagram account? Who here has an Instagram account with followers? What? Oh, I'm not. Oh, Debbie, I see your rules of followers. You're like, not that many. Who here has an Instagram account of more than 1 follower, which is not yourself? See? Now Debbie's even 2 hands. She's like, oh my God, I'm actually so much more amazing than I thought. I know. So what you're going to do is you're going to get into groups later. You're going to connect with each other, and you are going to either book something together that could literally be an Instagram Live. This week, you can go on Instagram Live together and share your audiences. You're 1 referral away from your next client. You're 1 referral away from your next client. Maybe Carolyn and James, they don't exactly have the same audience, but when they would go together, someone in Carolyn's audience's friend does need James. And it's just a matter of getting out there and feeling more and more comfortable speaking because you're doing it often. That makes you more visible. And Chandra, for your presentation, this is amazing because sometimes we think we need to practice so much for 1 presentation. But what if you have just a lot of smaller presentations before and you start to practice and you start to test certain things? So when you stand there in front of the big room, you've already tried a presentation, you've already tried a prop, you've already tried without slides, which is more often than not my advice. I always think do it without. And then if you feel that it's adding, add it. But don't start with the presentation because, and is it okay if I just really quickly go into that rabbit hole for Chandra and everybody else so you know when to use slides and not, and then we go back to the stages? Is what happens is you are a leader on stage. Okay, so where you say the attention is going to, the audience is going to. So imagine I have a slide here and there's data on it. There's text on it and I'm talking as well. And let's just say we have 100% of concentration. What is the audience going to do? How much percent of that 100% concentration is reading the slides and how much percentage is listening? What's going to happen is when you have data on a slide, people are going to read it. When they're going to read it, they're not listening to you, but you're still talking because you're nervous and you put those slides to feel comfortable, or you're going to read the slides, which totally doesn't make any sense because why do you have them anyways? What you can do though, is you're going to tell about it. And then you're going to say there's 3 reasons why this is so. Reason 1, and then you have a picture of the reason with a big word in the middle. So people who are visual, they can see something, but you're going to share what that is about. So when you have slides, I would always say start without, because otherwise you will feel your comfort and you want to create every slide so you don't forget what you're saying. But trust that you know, because it's your presentation, it's your stuff. You know, you can put bullets, you can do whatever these things. But overall, I would say no presentations. But the beauty is the smaller gigs help you prepare for the big ones. The big ones come when you're already the person. So I want to share some examples, because beliefs that we're kind of already busted is a stage has to be big. It takes really long to get there because you're going to get your gig within these 80 minutes, 90 minutes. And a belief could be, I need a keynote for that. But the truth is, you just want to share what you already have. And again, in other lessons, we go more into content. But you want to just put out something that's imperfectly perfect, because it will be. You know, I will just share or do I have a photo of that? Yes, I actually have. I have a photo of one of my first speaking gigs, and I'm gonna show them to you. I'm gonna do it now, actually. Just to give you an idea what you can think of, and that's really where I want you to go right now. I want you to think, what are places that I can already test this in? Okay, Lori, you shared with me Instagram Live. I got it. I have more than one follower. That's one way. But I want you to come up with maybe 10 different ways. So you have so much freedom. Your brain starts to go all different places about, like, where can I speak to? Because the first place, going again with our definition, does this make sense, by the way? Am I going to fast, or everybody sketching? Perfect. So when a place is a gig is a place where you can share your message in front of other people, then where my mind went in the beginning is, who do I know with a group of people? My aunt. My aunt is a high school teacher, and she has to talk in front of 15 people with puberty every single day. They probably love a different face. So I said to my aunt, hey, Jill, is it okay if I'm giving a guest lecture? I made that up. I thought that sounded very fancy. Can I do a guest lecture? And then I could try out what I thought was a keynote, which I found out it's absolutely not. But in that moment, I thought it was amazing. So this is what it looked like. Oh, there we go. This is what it looked like. Okay, this is me doing my ultimate best in front of, I'm not even sure if it's 15 people. That was my first ever keynote. Now, my question to you, put it in the chat, please. Do you think this one perfect? Let's see who has most faith in me. Chandra, I really like the maybe there. Yes, because you showed up. Okay, James. Interesting. We're talking about different rules of success, just like we shared before. This is good stuff, man. Love it. You did it. Yes, I did it. I was so proud of myself, and I got feedback, and the beautiful thing happened there, because I didn't get paid for that, but my aunt gave me a coupon, 25 euros to buy a book. And in that moment, I decided, you know, this is an exchange. I'm a paid speaker now. So I did a lot for my like my self-esteem. And I tested it out. Chandra, I can tell you, I appreciate your maybe. It was not perfect. It was not perfect. It was not perfect in the way I was doing it. It didn't land with, let's say, 60% of the crowd. They were really not getting my point. But you know what? I practiced it. I iterated. I got better. I got better, and I got another speaking engagement. Maybe one that you don't immediately see as a speaking engagement yet, but not this lesson. Your brain is exposed to so many opportunities, so you will come up with your own. So I did bring a lot of energy, it's true. They were at least captivated. They didn't get my point, but they were at least entertained. So another speaking engagement, and then again, maybe a stage that you might not think of if TEDx is a definition. This was during a training. a training that I was already doing right here. Super big crowd, right? We have maybe 10 people over here. This was during an in-person training that I was already part of. And this was a business training. And the business trainer had all different workshops, but nothing around speaking. So I said to the trainer, hey, would it be okay if I just share from my experience something that can bring people from where they are now to their next level speaking so they can acquire more clients, they're more clear, and they know how to be a magnet on stage? Would it be okay with you? Now, what do you think that person said? Translated to, hey, can I add value for free to an audience that's super useful? What do you think he said? James is very certain. He's like, yeah, of course they did. Of course they did. So if it's so obvious with me, it might be just as obvious with you. When if you come to a place where you're like, whoa, you have a group. You don't serve on the topic that I do, but your audience would benefit. Is it okay if I just add value for free to your community? Is it okay with you? Well, you were quite obvious with my situation, so maybe I'm just hypothetically it could work the same with you. You never know. And for the people who just raised their hand, just to verify who raised their hand, who wanting a 5-figure speaking engagement. Are we still there? Are we still excited about money too? Oh my God, everybody. This was one of those. This was one of those. Oh, there you are, Lourdes. I see you're excited for 10K as well, or more, 5 figures. So what happened? And this is what's going to happen for you too. It's not if, it's when. Is when you're willing to stick long enough. Well, what one of my friends said, if you're willing to suck long enough to be great at something. Because it is going to be practice. Your first one is not going to be perfect. It's just not. But if you're willing to go through all of that, what you're going to see is that people are coming to you afterwards. Maybe it's one person who says, hey, what you just shares hit me in the heart. I don't know what you offer, but I want to learn more about it. It was one person. That one person became a 5-figure client and she's still sending referrals my way. One speaking engagement in front of 10 people. There was. Can we do this again? Was it perfect? You can put it in the chat. Was this one perfect? Because I mean, I practiced a little bit more often. Was this one perfect? Oh, James has a lot of. I feel James has a lot of faith in me. I appreciate that. Who? What? Probably not. Mary is more realistic. It was better. Yes, it was better. You know what was the best, by the way? What I was the best in than everybody? I was the best being me. I was the best being me. And I was super, super certain that they felt my care. Do you feel my care right now? I might not be perfect. Well, I sure know I am not. I never try to be because I don't think that's a nice version of me. I think I'm really beautifully and perfectly perfect. I'm from the Netherlands, I'm from Europe, so I know that my grammar is not perfect. And I know that if you're willing to find a grammar mistake, you will find it. But instead of me overthinking that, because it will happen, I know it will. I studied English. It's just, I mean, you're always improving. But my meaning is, if I can be imperfect and teach something, like how super inspiring would that be? If I show you that you don't have to be either, and that being on a stage is not something, you need to study for forever. It's something someone you are right now. You just want to start where you are at. And every time you're doing it, you become better. You get proof of concept, and not everybody's gonna like you. You know what? That's the cool part. Because there will be people who really love you. And those are the ones who also want to work with you. So true, Lourdes. I know, right? And those will be your raving fans. Who's willing to not be perfect, but to go out there? To be the best you that you can ever be and just show that you care. And that the nerves come? Because they will. That's the funny part. It will. They will come. Not because you're not good, because we are wired as humans to survive, not thrive. Say that out loud with me. We're designed to survive, not thrive. So it's not you being afraid of public speaking or getting anxiety attacks, it's your human wiring wants to protect you for potential harm. So when we know that's just our subconscious mind telling us, be safe, we're like, thank you, but I still want to go out there. And yes, it's not always that easy. That's why one of the trainings in the speaking skills is also getting your nerves under control, because it's just a big part of it. But that was a long way of saying you totally got this, and there's a lot of stages out there. There's one more example that I want to share from someone that I really loved working with. And I'm going to share first a video just to show you that everybody who's going out there is always 100% confident. You know, I'm obviously, that's what people always say, you're so confident. I'm like, you should have sometimes see my own mind. Let's go. This is what he thought before, okay? About himself.
subject, and then I'm just telling people, but I'm not really getting in their heart or in their head, or I'm not touching the audience. I'm not connecting with the audience enough that they will take the message that I want to bring over home and still think about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later. That was one of the biggest challenges I had and still have, because I'm still trying to perfect that and to integrate that a little bit.
All right. On a level of 1 to 10, 1 being completely nervous, not willing to go out there, 10 being super stoked, excited, ready, born ready, give me the mic now. Where do you feel, based on this small clip, this guy is? On a scale of 10, being 10 is absolutely ready, give me the mic, I'm the speaker of all speakers, 1 being no way I'm gonna go out there. What is the number? Okay, we've got some different ones. Again, this is fun to reflect upon yourself, right? Because maybe this number also reflects how you feel about yourself, and maybe you're better than you already are. So we have a 7, an 8, a 7, and a 5. Okay.
Subject. And
So what happened is he really wanted to go out there. And I share the same strategies that I'm sharing now with you. And I said, you know what, in order for you to go out there to get a speaking gig, you want to get your mind like wide open. Like, where could I find an audience that I can share my message in front of so they get inspired and I get practice? And I get practice in a way that feels a little uncomfortable to me, not like exaggerating, stressful, uncomfortable that when I go out there, I never want to try it again. So what he came up with, I already shared some examples for myself, right? I asked my aunt, I did it in front of a training that I was already doing. And he thought, you know what, I'm going to organize it myself. And that's what he did. I'm going to show you a photo for the visual learners among us. By the way, Shanra, you see, I'm using slides, but I do it in a very strategic way. So this was him. He just said, you know what, Lori, I know someone with a bar, and on Tuesday nights, they don't use the bar. So he invited his friends and family, and it's like, I saw these photos, I'm like, this is like, you have like a twin brother or something. That's where my one. So just friends, just family, and that's what he did, right? 30 minutes of sharing. Now, and this is where I really want you to get creative. He did this. He got a bar for free from a friend. He was just creative. He invited only his friends and family. And some of them brought a +1 just because they got excited. What are the effects of this speaking engagement? What are the effects, the magical, unexpected ones that you shed? I'm willing to receive the magic. You suggested that from the beginning. What are all possibilities that you can come up with that could potentially be results of just this moment alone? I want to see it in the chat. And I want to see crazy ones. Put your dreams out there. What are results from just sharing? Oh. What are results? You can put it in the chat. So, Lourdes did this before, and she was the keynote speaker about Brazilian culture. Wow, that's amazing. Imagine if you would go out there again and keep that momentum up. Oh, that's so beautiful. Mary, he gained so much more confidence. Absolutely. What else? What do we got? What are potential results that could happen by just getting a place and inviting your family and friends. I want to see some creative stuff. Come on, we want to do this fast. Don't overthink this. I want to see the chat blowing. He got a speaking engagement. Okay, what do you think, Mary? Give me more ideas. He may got a referral for a business. Totally could be possible. Get a client. Totally be possible. What else? What do we got? This is a guy, by the way, super excited about the environment. He wants to help corporate organizations reach the sustainable development goals or contribute to those. So maybe you got a client, maybe you got a referral, maybe you got a speaking engagement. What else can we think of? Come on. You got free drinks. Okay, I like it, Mary. There we go. And what else? A Rotary Club, a Lions Club, a woman's luncheon. I don't know how to say that. Speaker at a country club, nursing association, dental. Oh yeah, I know. That's your place, right? Dental hygiene, getting more ideas about his ideal clients need. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can we agree that this could potentially all be possible? Because when we go out there, we don't know exactly who's in the room. Even though it's our friends and family have acquaintances, have friends, right? So it could all be. Now I'm going to show you a photo. This photo, I don't know exactly anymore. It's been a while. Let's say 3 months. I don't think I'm exaggerating. 3 months after this moment, this was his photo. I take my time because this is a moment. Okay. This happened around 3 months after. This, my friends, is the same guy on a TEDx stage. Now I told you, don't text me. Don't text me to ask you to put on the stage, which I never do. What he did is he said, Lori, I have a dream. Who here has a dream? Who here has a goal, a speaking goal? And he spoke it out loud. He put it on paper and he was very intentional about it. The only thing he did is what you're doing. Learning how to communicate every day a little better. He started to open his view about what a stage actually is. And instead of waiting for the one opportunity to come to him, he started moving. He just created his own gig. And you know what? And this is not, this is how it happens when you keep moving. The sister of a brother of, I don't know, a neighbor or someone, one of the plus ones actually was a TEDx organizer. That he did not know that. And she listened to him and she said, you know what? Our next event is super soon. We have a spot in the lineup. Just apply just for formalities, but you got the spot. When you go out there and do your thing, when you go out there imperfectly, you never know what the results are. What you do know is that when you don't go out there, magic cannot find you. You might want to write this down. When you keep going, magic can find you. When you stay in the game, magic can find you. If you stop, you make it really hard for magic to come into your life. So what we're going to do in a moment, we're going to put you into breakout rooms where you will be with either 3 or 4 other people. And what you're going to do is you're going to, first of all, share what it is that you're doing. And we're going to do that in a specific way that's going to help you in every single room to make more impact. Who's excited about that? Who's excited to learn how to properly say, James, what do you do? And then you know what to say in a way that's really fast. How I would do is, instead of answering, I would start with a question. For example, Lori, what do you actually do? Well, do you know coaches, entrepreneurs or experts who are incredibly passionate about what they're doing, helping the world to make a better place? Now, I'm not expecting an answer, but what I do know is that in their mind's eye, they're saying yes. Yes. Yes is the word we want to hear when we want to sell someone, when we want to find a new deal, when we want to get a speaking gig. We want to hear the word yes. So do you know entrepreneurs, coaches, or experts who are incredibly passionate about what they're doing and they want to help the world to make a better place? Okay. Well, I help them to create clarity in their message, find stages to speak on, and monetize those opportunities so they can increase their impact and income in a way that's easy and fun. So you ask the question, you say, that's who I help with blah, 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 blah. So you're doing it fast, right? We're doing this fast. So you're going to introduce yourself in front of the group. And then you're saying what your ideal audience would be. And then we're doing this as a mastermind. This is not called mastermind.com without a reason. So all the other people are going to think with you. For that moment is all about you. Oh my God, it's going to be all about you. Everybody else is going to think with you. Do I know someone who has that audience? Do I know someone who has a group? And maybe it's me with my more than one follower on Instagram, right? So you're getting 20 minutes in total. So make sure that everybody gets their time. Who's responsible for the timekeeping? You can point at that person right now. Who's responsible for making sure that everybody gets the amount of time in the room that's equal and feels fair? You can point at that person who is responsible. You are, okay? Exactly. James got it. You are. So make sure that it's fair. Everybody gets their turn. And when you come back, we will do some questions. We will do some shares, because the question that I'm going to ask you is, who here got a speaking gig planned? My wish is that everybody in that moment raises their hand. And I know it's possible because we've done it before. The only thing that I need of all of you is the willingness to make that happen. The willingness to be creative, to open your mind's eye of the possibilities that are already there. Because it doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be suffering. It can be actually really easy and fun when you decide that's what you're willing to do. Just another time, who's willing to make it easy and fun? And don't think, you know what, that's not good enough, that's not good enough. It's like, okay, Debbie, Mary, we have a little bit of different audience, but can we go live on Instagram together? Of course you can. And there's always a connection you can find if you're willing to look for it. So again, you will be in groups. You will have 20 minutes. One person is going to introduce him or herself. And then you're going to share who your ideal audience is. And everybody is going to think along. Who do I know who can help you? Who do I know? Maybe it's myself. Maybe it's my audience. It's probably your audience, I'm going to tell you. And then you're going to write down those contacts. So later on, you can make those introductions. Can I get a 2 thumbs up if the exercise is completely clear? We're going to wait until I see 2 thumbs from everybody. You can make this really long and awkward for everybody, okay? 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up when it's completely sure. Okay, we've got one more question. Debbie, you want to ask something to clarify? To clarify and verify, so we're using this time as optimally as possible.
I
Bring it
didn't
on.
hear I didn't hear anything because my dog started barking. Sorry.
Well, I think you got an amazing
Dog.
person, dog, animal to bring with you. It's gonna create a lot of excitement, and I think that your teammates are really able to
Explain it to me.
explain it to you just super quickly. You're going to introduce yourself and everybody's going to think with you to make sure, Debbie, that when you come back and I ask the question, who secured a speaking gig, that you're able to raise your hand. You're not alone. You're in a team. This is a mastermind who feels supported by their peers already just by being in this room today. I know it's coolest freaking family in the world. I'm part of this too, by the way. I'm in these mastermind the edge. You are in the right place at the right time. It's the most and craziest place to be. So we're going into breakout rooms in 3, 2, 1. We'll see you back in 20 minutes.
Mm-mm.
detected.
If you're watching the replay, then you're doing absolutely phenomenal, and we're going into some shares. So this is going to be very, very fascinating for you also to listen through, like, what did you gain through this, and how are these specific case studies going to bring you even further? Welcome back, everybody who had an amazing time during those breakout sessions. Who met someone that you thought, wow, wow. A lot of you, a lot of you. And I see a lot of hands, so they might be talking about you, you know? Sometimes it's so easy to say about it for someone else, but if other people are saying it about you, you better believe it as well. So the question that I already kind of like shared, which I was going to share, is who got a speaking engagement? Who secured a speaking engagement, a meeting, an appointment where you're going to share in front of someone else's audience that you just discussed in the breakout room? Can I see some hands? Was it a hand, Sean, or was that you putting down the thingy? Who booked it? Who got a moment in time where someone else, where you're going live? I want to see at least one hand. Come on, you all. We decided to make it easy and fun. What happened? We run out of time and I had 1.5 minutes to talk. Lol. Perfect. I want to hear some shares then. Who would love to share your experience?
Actually, I share some of my connections, and if anybody wants to be part of the Brave Network and in the wellness, program, I can put it in touch with Annie Atwood. She runs the Brave Network and Reiki wonderful
Beautiful.
podcast. So you can reach me out.
Super. Thank you, Lourdes. And we'll
Yeah.
be back in the room because I want to do some exercises. When we think about offerings, we can see them in like 3 different chunks. Okay? We have the health, we have wealth, and we have relationships. Now, with a raise of hands, who feels they're mostly, because sometimes it's too chunked together, mostly in the wealth sector or in the health sector. So the health. So anything with, Reiki, like, okay, Sean and Lourdes and Carolyn and Debbie and Anastasia. Okay, who here is in the wealth sector? Mary? Who else? Anyone else? Me too. So we're together. Perfect. Who is in the relationship category? James? Anastasia? can we agree that more than one person at the time raised their hand in any bucket? That means that you can go live together, so we can make it easy to get on a speaking engagement, right? Like, I don't want to overcomplicate this or undercomplicate this, if that's even a word, right? The goal that I have for all of you, the invitation that I would love to make, is to make it really, really easy to get yourself in front of a room. And Lourdes, what I loved about what you were sharing, you said, like, I have contacts who have groups with the Reiki and things, and if I cluster it, it would be health, right? There would be a lot of people who would do something around health. So everybody just raise their hand around the health sector. I would certainly connect with Lourdes, because you might find a win-win. Now, is it okay if before I'm going to listen to another share, I will share one more thing, how you as a speaker can be more irresistible for a host to say yes to? Would that be helpful? Perfect. So what Dean always says, right? You want to create an irresistible offer for your clients. Can we get ahead now? Like, do you remember that? So the same applies to speaking, right? When you are not a speaker, we learned that, but you are the expert who can share something about a certain topic. You want to create an irresistible offer for someone else to say, oh, that's an obvious choice. Not just for you to get the gig, but also for you to get money from it. So, for example, what if I want to do a real example? Who would love to do a hot seat with me? We're gonna get you a gig. Chandra, you were the most excited one. Chandra. Okay, so what I would love for you to do is I would love for you to explain who you help, just like how I explained it in the beginning. So asking a
Yeah.
question first and then
Yes. Do you know people who have a family story to tell, but they don't know where to start? And there's a chance that might not be passed down to next generations. I help people become better family storytellers using digital tools. And that means I'd show them how to tell their story on video, add in historical photos from their family so they have a story that shares their family history and the wisdom they gained in life or they've learned, and then they send it to the next generation. My ideal client is usually grandparents who have stories to tell their grandchildren, or the children of grandparents who want to do something very special to honor their parents or their grandparents at milestone birthdays, like when they turn 75 or 80.
wow. Who gets a smile on their face just by listening to that? Just with the, like, show the smile. That's creepy. Okay, got it. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. And now you say this, I actually think you've said it to me before one time, because it's
I
such
know
a
I'm still working, but I'm going. People are getting it. I got my first gig, and I helped this 75-year-old make this amazing video about growing up in the South and getting an education. Her mom only had a 6th grade education, and then she told her kids, her grandchildren, if you just set goals, you can accomplish so much in life. What a powerful message to give your grandchildren.
wow. And you help them to create what specifically? Is like a
A
movie?
video, yeah, movie, like a mini documentary. So I help them find their story, because they begin by telling me they don't have a story. So I help them find their story. Then I help them record it. I help them upload their photos. We storyboard their story. So at the end, they end up with a 5 to 7 minute video that they give to their grandkids, that their grandkids love and watch and learn more about their grandparents.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Thank
That's
you.
so cool. Okay, so who is your ideal audience you would love to speak to? And we are doing this not just for Chandra, right? Like, really think of yourself. Like, what is the ideal audience? What is your ideal audience, Chandra? And everybody listening, please put in the chat what you think her ideal audience is. So what's your
I think they're grandparents. Or
okay.
children of grandparents, or like older people whose kids who worry that their parents are going to be gone soon, and they want to get those stories. So those two people.
Yeah, so either the grandparents or the grandchildren. What do you
Or
all?
I mean, the grandparents or the grandparents is like adult children. You know, the in between the grandparents and the grandchild. Does that make?
Ah, yeah, yeah.
I'm confusing you. Sorry.
Yeah. So like, yeah, gotcha. So the people who are the parent, the children of the parents who want it
Uh,
for their
Yes, yes. So
cool. So your ideal client is then who? Like your ideal audience. So
I
we're
think
gonna
they're like, yeah, I think they're people who are 65 and older. I think they're people who are 65 years and older, basically.
yeah, so the people in the audience where you would love to do the speaking gig in front of would be 65-year older people.
Seniors.
Seniors. And then your message would be, do you have a story that you would love to give to your grandchildren?
Yes.
Now I
And
want to
here's
give
how to do it.
I want to give you something back that you said, okay? Which might be an interesting thing. So you said the first thing that they recognize is that they don't have a story and I help them unfold the story. Is that correct? So it's going to be an interesting puzzle for you to see who your perfect ideal client is,
Mhm.
right? Because what I'm hearing you say on one side is I want to stand in front of 65-year-olds to then help to say, do you have a story and would you love to share this? And the first step is actually uncovering that they actually have something to share.
Yes.
Right? So what I'm wondering is, and then this is just a thought, right? And this is what public speaking is going to help you figure out, is once you stand in front of audiences of people or of elderly, so to speak, and you're doing your whole gig, and then you have your call to action, which maybe is who would love to jump on a call with me, and all these people come like, oh, that's such a good idea, it's just not for me, and they don't recognize that they actually have their story. What if your audience could be people who are very busy, don't speak so much with their parents anymore because they're so busy, they're driving kids around to school and all those beautiful things, and you say, who here knows that your parents lived in a different time? And there's stories that will be buried once they're not there, but you want your children to know about them.
Oh, wow, that's so powerful.
Right? I'm the bridge builder. I am the legacy saver. I'm the, make a cool term. And what I make sure
Legacy saver. You know, my business is called Legacina, so I love that, legacy saver. I love
super.
that.
So
Legacy.
and this is going to be fun, and this is for every single one of you, right? Maybe you have a certain idea about who your audience is, and then when I say go into groups and you're like very fixed, for example, on I need elderly, and no one in the groups has elderly in their network or feels that there are no groups, but maybe someone does know and does have a group with entrepreneurs. Like maybe entrepreneurs could be your perfect clients because they're always busy, they're high achievers, but they care. If you're a high achiever, but you also care about your family bloodline and you don't want the knowledge that already exists to vaporize when your parents, it's, and they're are in the end of their lives, and maybe I don't want to put you into an uncomfortable situation, but maybe, and then you can tell a story about someone who got Alzheimer. So they're still here, they just don't remember. So now you got an interesting part. And now you can start to practice this, right? You can start to practice this in front of audiences of all elderly, but you can also start to see, okay, what if I find myself in high achieving, which might be people who also have the cash flow and the appreciation, especially if you connect it to the holidays. Who here is finished with the consumption culture and really wants to give a gift that lasts forever?
Wow, Lori, you are amazing. That is, you turned it upside down and gave me whole new possibilities. That's amazing. And
Beautiful.
actually, the person who hired me to do my first project is exactly what a high achiever who could probably have done it herself, but didn't have the time. And she needed somebody to bug her mom to make her mom do it. And then her mom was so grateful afterwards. You're right. Wow.
Oh, you're sharing all your marketing material. Are you a high achiever? that when you talk to your parents, they don't share all the secrets, or they don't want to talk about all these things, but you want your children to know the wisdom. Instead of writing it down in a way that okay, I'm getting a riff. So instead of writing it down in a way that they don't consume the information, what if you connect to the way society works right now? How society, it moves faster. How it works is video. If you want to compile the 80 years into a 5 to 7 minute video, I'm your person. I do. I take it out of your hands. I interview them. This is the end product. Who would love it? I'm sure that you're gonna be too busy at some point. Like, I'm just stoked for you. This is such a good product, such a good time. And do we start to see, because this is not just for Chandra, it is for everybody, that the focus on your audience determines the success rate in finding speaking engagements. Because when you think, okay, it needs to be elderly, oh, no one has elderly, it's going to be really hard to find. When you're thinking of, okay, wait a minute, there's a system of like three parts. And let's just say it's still going to be the elderly, right? You can still find the elderly through someone else. And then when talking about, because just with a raise of hands, who already thinks of someone that Chandra should work with, right? My personal love language is videos. If someone says, Lori, for your birthday, we're going to create a 5 to 7 minute video from your hero, which is your grandma. I'm like, I'm going to cry right here, right now, right? Everybody wants a piece of this. So what I'm saying here is, by you raising your hand, this is your speaking engagement, right? And now we want to create a certain structure. You want to tell this in a specific way. You want to have a clear call to action so people know how to help you. Because, by the way, who loves helping people? Who gets a good vibe from helping people? Who loves actively asking for help? Some of you lowered your hand. So what I always think is, part of the growth that I've been able to go through, which was really fast, is because I decided to think, when I ask for help, I'm doing someone else a service, because I'm so grateful and I know that I'm giving someone else a good feeling by it. So that makes me ask for help fast. So when we know how to specifically and strategically ask for help in a way that gets results for everybody, is going to help everybody. Because what if, Chandra, Sean knows someone, and you said to Sean, from everybody who comes through you get a percentage. Now everybody wants to help you because we're aligned. We are winning. Everybody's winning. And then we get text from our friends. Oh my God, thank you so much for connecting me with Chandra, because she made this amazing video. You have material to go viral because people will share their results. Oh, I'm so stoked for you. I'm excited for you. For whom was this helpful as well, by the way? Not just for Chandra, to really look through the lens. Who's my audience? And am I really making it harder than I should? It actually could be really easy. So Chandra, I would literally say, who of this group would you like to go on a live with? Because every single person could be your client. Better yet, and this is where I really want all of you to open your scope, because it can be so easy to think, oh, I don't have that one contact that in my mind could be the perfect person who then puts me on my perfect stage. But this whole 90 minutes was for all of you to open your mind of what a stage really is. And that even when you put something together for friends and family who are absolutely not your target group, you get a TEDx in 3 months? Like, you don't get a TEDx in 3 months. It's done in 3 months. You're on YouTube within 3 months, So whatever it is that you're doing, maybe an Instagram Live with someone you first thought you totally don't have a connection with is going to open your world. Because you're having a different conversations than what you normally would do. You have different insights, they have different audience members. One person is going to follow you right after, and that one person is going to give you 5 clients because they're raving about you, right? You never know what it's going to end up with. Chandra, you want to say something?
No, I'm just excited. This is brilliant. So thank you.
You're welcome. Give it up for Chandra, everybody. Super. So we have 4 more minutes left. Like these hot seats, who loves these hot seats? Like I would love to go through all of you, but I also want to respect the time. There's more lessons, there's more stuff. So I really want to give you a scope of what this was the fundament of, right? This is not the end, this is the beginning. Because now what you're going to do, like, or I don't want to say what you're going to do. What I would love to invite you to do is to really, really, really get at least 3 speaking gigs booked in like today, because this is the momentum, and maybe your brain is still thinking, but I don't know, right? Sit with it for a bit. We said in the beginning, what if it can be easy and it can be fun? Maybe you don't have an aunt in high school, but when I say school, maybe there is some sort of a connection, and you can create a lecture, and maybe one person gets so inspired that they take a different move. They don't buy your product. But if we give up just by that, right? Maybe you can go live on Instagram, because again, just raise your hand one more time. Who is in the health sector? The health sector. We have Debbie, we have Lourdes, we have Carolyn. Write those names down, you all. Again, it can be easy. You're not a burden if you ask for help. You're helping someone feel good. Who here is in the wealth sector? And it's not just me and Mary. Who's in the wealth sector? Who creates wealth for other people? I think it's you, Shanra. Why not? Let's be a bit creative in our mind's eye. Let's not cluster us and pull us down, right? You can go live together, right? Who here is in the relationship? Who else? Shanra again. She's in 2. James was 2, right? So write these names down. Start to know what you are doing, what other people are doing. Brendan Bouchard was one of the guests Dean took in a mastermind. And Brendan said, which for me changed the game, what if you stop networking for yourself, but real wealth comes is you start to network for your network? What if you can go into, that's good, Mary, I saw you. What if you start to look into breakout rooms, really pay attention to what other people are doing, and you're going to be the one who says, you know what, Debbie, I really love what you're doing. Why don't you speak to Sean? You two should meet. And you help people connect with each other. The law of reciprocity kicks in. People always want to do something back for you. And like, whether you believe it or not, like, some magic will find you when you keep doing good stuff for other people. So what I would love for you to do is make 3 appointments. I hope you wrote the 9 names down from everybody who raised their hand as well. Just make sure you talk to the people who are in the room, you know, and create an Instagram live together. Reach out to your previous school and say, you know what, it was 40 years ago, but I learned some stuff along the way and would love to contribute. Is it okay? What are they going to say? Obviously, they're going to say yes. They will be so grateful. If you really want to find elderly and tested, go to what I call old people house. I don't know what's really called, but people who are lonely, and just say, you know what, is it okay if I share some fun stuff for an evening, for an afternoon? Of course, they're going to say yes. It can be easy and fun, you all. When you have your speaking engagement, please share it in the community and tag me, because I cannot wait to celebrate with you. And next time, like, listen to all your wins around, like, oh my God, I implemented this and I got my next speaking engagement. Cool? Cool. You're on the right track. You're in a super cool transformational train. The speaking skills lessons are every single week. We have a topic every time. So I love to see you next week. And until then, go kick some ass and implement, okay? Love you all.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Anastasia.